Welcome. This session is powered by Global Talent Solution, supported by leaders of all nations, Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs, Helping Hand Foundation, Explore London, Global International Alliance, Ladies of All Nation Global Foundation, RM Infinite, International Youth Society, and Dream Bigger. Today's host is Dr. Jaya Sajnani, and the guest is Chris Roberts. Enjoy the session.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jaya Sajnani, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session, which is our very first session for Pathway to Success, YES and SDG programs, which is a sustainable development goals for the United Nations. And today we are going to discuss about very first goal of the SDG. But before I start the program, let me introduce myself. As I said, I'm Dr. Jaya Sajnani. I'm a founder of Global Talent Solution Hub. Yes, GTS is a non-profit organization with a vision to create the future where talent knows no boundaries. We believe that every individual, regardless of their background, circumstances, should have access to the equal education system, training, opportunity, and excel in their chosen field. We serve as a bridge between the education system and the talent across the globe. We offer study abroad program, cultural exchange program, student exchange program, and online speaker sessions like this, where students, professors, and the industry experts can come at the one platform and engage and talk about, hustle it, the recent going on issues. So, why we have started the Sustainable Development Goal Program? Let me talk about something. Because as you know, as entrepreneurs, as a business, as a society organization, whether you are doing the non-profit organization or the profit-making organization, it is very, very important is a survival, and not just a survival, but thrive of that organization. And how does the organization thrive? When they have a sustainable goal, when they have a goals, which is a strategies, which are long-term. And for that reason, all you need is when you're preparing or planning any decision making in your organization, whether it's a volunteer or non-profit organization, or you are doing a profit-making business, this must include a sustainable development goals. So today, we are going to talk about the very first United Nations sustainable goals. There are total 17 goals. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time, so we're going to cover only 6 of the goals during the series. So our first session, before we start, I would like to start my session by the gratitude. First of all, I would like to give the huge thank you to the support of our supporters. Without that, this program would not have been possible. So who are they? They are very first, our big and huge supporter is a Professor Dr. Caroline Makaka, who is a founder of the Leaders of All Nation International. Our second is a lady, Dr. Robbie Motor, who is the founder of GSFE, Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs. We have a Dr. Lenora Peterson Wimbledon, who is the founder of GIA, Global International Alliances USA. And Dr. Randy Ward, who has founded a Dream Bigger Institute USA and RM Infinite. Without failing to mention Lily and Harry, who are founder of Speakers and Leaders. And today especially, I would like to thank a huge thanks to IIW, who is an inspiring Indian woman organization, Rashmi Mishra, who has also supported us with today's session by spreading the awareness and allowing lots of people to know that we are doing today's session. So, please, I would like to request all our attendees today to mute yourself, because it is disrespect to the people who are speaking, and it is disturbing their talking session as well. So please mute yourself unless we've asked you to unmute, or if you have any question, raise the hand virtually, and I'm sure we have a person here, Mudit, who is in the background working, will help you to raise this question to the speaker. So let's invite The very first speaker of today is a Chris Robert. Let me introduce Chris. Chris Robert is a co-founder of the North Wales Dragons. Yes, it is a non-profit community football team established to raise funds for charities. Since its inception in 2009, the team has played nearly 100 games across the UK, supporting various causes. As a big idea, Wales role model, Chris promotes entrepreneurship in schools and colleges. With over 40 years in mechanical servicing engineering, he has managed a project worth of 50 million pound. Wow. Chris also founded Inner Frame, creating commemorative memories for the sports clubs. His diverse career includes mentoring and guest lecturing, contributing significant to the community development and the charity work. So let's welcome today's first speaker, Chris Roberts.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me along this afternoon. I'm hoping I can share a few words of wisdom with you. We'll see. We'll see. As Dr. Jaya said, I'm the co-founder of North Wales Dragons community football team. It's a football team that's based on inclusiveness rather than ability. So all our football players, we've got women players, a women's team, and we've got male players as well. The youngest player is 16 years old. The eldest player is 67 years old. Just to tell you a bit more about myself, I am one of 100 future generations Wales changemakers. I am also serving on the Football Association of Wales Sustainability Advisory Board, and I'm also a member of the United Nations Football for the Goals campaign, Football for the Goals being the 17 development goals. So recreational football is something that I've been involved with for the last 56 years. I started when I was 10 years old. My dad used to play football within a factory. And football has been going on for 170 years since the first professional football club was formed. And as the majority of people know, it's always been male dominated. It was dominated up until the 1914-1918 Great War, where all the men within the UK went off to serve the country, but people still wanted to watch football. What happened then was munitions factories were all run by women. So the women took the place of the men and they played football that all the local communities came to watch. Fast forward to 1970s and female football was banned within the UK. Fast forward again to the 1980s and women are then introduced into football. In 2014, 2014, we had a meeting where we said that what we wanted to do was, we were a male-dominated game at the time. We wanted to bring in women into the Dragons. So we always had an ambition that we would have a women's team. 2010, we actually got a team together, which was our anniversary. We got a women's team together, but COVID hit in 2020 and we had to stop. We rallied around again. So 2021, we actually formed the team. When we first formed the team, the first ladies team, we had about 3 or 4 ladies come into each session. And it went like that for about 5 or 6 times. But we were wondering, were we going to get the interest? It was difficult, but we kept persevering. And then eventually there was the European Championships on TV. European Championships on TV for the women's game. And more ladies got interested, and they called us up and said, we want to play. Eventually, 2022, we formed our first ladies team. We managed to get a team of 11 people together. We were approached by telecom company EE, and they asked if we would support a campaign which was called Hope Beats Hate. Hope Beats Hate is a campaign that tries to prevent abuse to women online. So when we wear our ladies kits now, you see the big yellow and green logo with EE on the front. Well, that's all born from the Hope Beats Hate campaign. We wanted to get football kits that were for ladies only, because we didn't want them to wear men's kits. We want them fashioned kits. So we bought black kits, fashion kits, so that they were actually produced for the women's team. We also got involved with a campaign called Her Game 2. Her Game 2 is where ladies go to football matches. Ladies have an opinion. They're in the crowd, they have an opinion. Men seem to think that they have this gift where they can shout women down, that they don't know the game. I can tell you, having played football alongside women for the last 3 years, they know the game better than us. With regard to the ladies actually playing the game as well, what we thought is that, do you know what, the men just go out and play, and they don't give a second thought about how they play or why they play. But the ladies who we've got involved, what we do is they have a different platform to play on. So we're talking with our local university at the moment and the sports science department. We are talking to them about breast care for when they run. So what they wear is really important. And also the time of the month is important as well. So what we do is we make sure that we've got complete player care so that every lady is looked after completely. What else can I tell you? We have actually got 3 women directors. So when we first started, there was myself and my 2 boys. We put the Dragons together, but it came a time where we wanted more directors to join our group. So what we did was we took on 4 more directors. The reason for taking on 4 directors was because they could outvote us 3 men. So us 3 men couldn't come up with any daft ideas that we would be challenged with. So, like I say, we took on one other male and 3 females. The 3 females are very clever, very dominant, and very, very strong-minded. And each of them are really clever in their field as well. And we need that as a male team, as a male-dominated team. We need strong women to put us in lines, keep us in check, to make sure that we're on the right track. Another thing too is that the ladies team now has overtaken the men's team in how many matches are arranged during the course of a month. So whereas we're having 1 match per month and 1 tournament per year, The ladies are having 2 or 3 tournaments a year, and they're also having 2 or 3 matches a month as well. So they have overtaken the men with regard to how much they can raise for awareness and how much they can raise in money for charitable causes. What else can I tell you? This weekend coming, we just as an example of the kind of tournaments that we get involved in, we're going to Manchester on Friday night. We are there on Saturday and Sunday, and we're playing a tournament of 60 football teams. Those 60 football teams are all like-minded. They're all out there to raise awareness and good causes, for good causes. But the way that our football team is set up, the idea is that we have physical awareness, physical activity from doing what we do. We have mental awareness, mental health. We have social inclusion as well, because we're giving, we're getting in touch with each other. We're getting together every week, and also we're giving back to the communities that we serve to. And that is a pretty quick, fast overview on how the Dragons men's and women's team work together.
Wow, that's so fantastic. I mean, Chris, what I'm hearing is the North Wales Dragon has given equal opportunity to women and girls. But let me ask you this question. Why you felt that you need a woman on the board? First, that very first question, you being a male personality, having that male-dominated sports, what made you to think that having women on board will benefit you or this non-profit organization or wider community? What it came in your mind?
Much experience of dealing with women, I can tell you. First of all, my mum, who was a very powerful woman.
Uh-huh.
My wife, who is a very powerful woman. And I've got a lot of friends out there who are formidable women as well. And, I'm coming up to 65 years old, so I've had 65 years experience of dealing with some strong women in my time. And
Wow.
the ones who we've taken on as directors,
Uh-huh.
I mentioned at the time that they are strong women,
Mhm.
they're clever women, and they are, we need someone knowledgeable as well. So they were knowledgeable in their own fields.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
knowledgeable in the stuff that we haven't got, because, we started this by accident.
Yeah.
And we haven't got all the skills. We're entrepreneurs and what have you,
Uh-huh.
and we start our own business, but we
Mhm.
don't know everything, and we have
Agreed.
to outsource to
Yeah.
the people who know,
Mhm.
and that is exactly why we took the 3 directors on.
Wow, that is very, very impressive. So, people who have joined just now, I just want to let you know that today's session is a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, how to incorporate this United Nations goals into your long-term strategy. And you just heard from the Chris Roberts that how effectively, knowingly or unknowingly, subconscious mind is kicked in, and then he decided that in this table, which is a sport, which is a male-dominated industry, he needed a woman or the equal opportunity gender who can sit there and mold it, modify, or create the strategic decisions for this organization. So let me tell you about what is the United Nations Sustainable Goals. It's just a few things I wanted to start with. Today's goal, what we are talking about, is achieving gender equality and empowering all women and the girls, which is called equality for all, which is the SDG goal number 5 we are talking about today. Why United Nations has decided to use this equality for all is one of their 17 goals Very, very important. And which is the goal? This goal focuses on ending the discrimination and the violence against women and girls. As rightly Chris has mentioned, that many men in this world, not now, maybe previous age or the in 70th centuries, 60th centuries, they used to think that muscular power is the dominating power in the world. If you know very carefully that now we are in the 21st century where it's not the muscular power which is on the power or on the seat in the world's economy, it is the financial and the economic power. So in today's world, in 20th century, it's not that who got the muscular power will be dominating or ruling the community, country, or the whole era. It is about the economic and the financial power. Now, how could you make it sure that every individual person have that economic or financial power to show their talent and platform? And this is the reason United Nations has decided to end the discrimination against the woman and girl, eliminate the violence against the women and girls, eliminate harmful practices, value unpaid care, and promote shared domestic responsibility. I can tell you about this very easily because in UK, people think the United Kingdom is, of course, the second best economy in the world, and anything happens in USA and then UK follows to the different countries. However, in today's day as well, in United Kingdom, there are many carer who are unpaid. They are unspoken heroes. They're looking after their home and their family life purely because they comes from the feminist figure. They are the female gender people where the unspoken word of the society still says that being a woman and a girl, you are tend to look after your child, you are tend to look after your family, you are tend to look after your society. But where the economic or the financial responsibility comes in. So this is the reason United Nations as well decided to have the equality for all. Then they decided the universal access to sexual and productive health and right cares as well. Reforms of the given woman equal rights and the economic resources, adopt and strength policies and enforceable legislation. So why are we talking as a GTS Global Talent Solution Hub? I would like to let you know why are we hustling about the equality for all, this, why it is so hard to me, close to me. Because first, I'm a feminist figure and I'm a founder of Global Talent Solution Hub. By having that organization, non-profit organization, I always wanted, since my childhood, I wanted an equal opportunity of girl and a woman, because I come from the place, a village from Gujarat, where at that point of time, when I left that country 22 years ago, the country was in the shape where woman and girl were always meant to be in the four walls of the home. Yes, the world has changed, it has changed, but have you noticed what change has made it? The change is made us as a feminist figure to race and go and grab the seat on the table where all the male dominated industry people are sitting. To do this, we as a female, what we have done, we given up our core characteristics of being a feminist. We have changed to be a muscular power. A muscular power to show the tone, attitude, strong, uh, um, um, is like a Chris Robert mentioned it. The strong woman needed to be who can put us in the line. Is it fair that being a woman, we had to give up our own characteristic to reach or to raise that gender equality, and what we are promoting by doing so? Are we saying that yes, now female and male are equal? No, actually, if you see, that means on the table of this 10, all are Although it looks like appears 5 female and 5 male are sitting and taking the decision, but those female feminist figure has given up their characteristics to be a male so that they can be in that table. You can find the place in the table. So end result is that table is a full with the 10 muscular mentality or strong voiced powerful people. This is not what SDG goal is. The SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, says the equality for all. That means the reason, as Chris already mentioned, and I'm going to echo this, the reason why we need equality purely because everyone, as we all know, nobody is 100% perfect. Everyone has their own right, viewpoints, perception. Now, when any organization as a business, non-profit or profit-making, you are taking any decisions for your customers or services or products, you need to make sure the end users are equal, women and men. They have lots of other diversity group as well. So the people who are making a decision has to be full of this gender equality so that they can put their point forward to there and say that this is what my community, this is what my gender, this is what my age group, this is what my race would like to see your services and product. And this is the reason it's called Sustainable Development Goals. So unfortunately, today we had a one speaker fallout. Lou Russia is not feeling well, but I am more than happy to present today's topic. So Mudit, would you kindly help me to share our presentation? And I would like to talk about the equality for all. So this is our topic. Next. So this is going to be our agenda where we are going to talk about the gender equality and how we can promote it and promoting equality in community and youth workplaces, how you can help them. So what is equality for all? I think Chris pretty much has covered it. I have mentioned it as a what is equality and why it is very important for Sustainable Development Goal. Next. Defining equality. Defining equality is the idea everyone is given to the same resources and opportunity to thrive, right? We would like to see whether, doesn't matter which race, which gender, which age group you belong to. We all require the same platform, same resources so that we can use and we thrive. We are a human being individually, every single person have amazing talent, amazing potential. The only reason I come from Anand, that small village today, sitting here and doing this session, capable enough to talk, because I got that platform. Not that I'm a different or heroic figure than the other people who are still sitting in that village. Just because for some reason they did not get the platform. Can you imagine if me having that platform can empower today? We have a 256 live viewer and I'm talking to them, I'm inspiring them, I'm telling them what is equality for all. Imagine that 300 girls in that city sitting at my age group could have done differently if the platform and resources would have been provided. So this is the reason defining equality is very, very important. Now, this is a bigger scale, but if you look at the smaller scale as your business owner, in my businesses, we do YG Travel, we have Explore London, and today's session, which we are doing it like that, Global Talent Solution Hub. Our first mission or value, if you remember when I started talking, we are a non-profit organization and we are creating a bridge, a platform where gender does not get discriminated. Doesn't matter which race, which gender, which ethnic group you belong to, we give them equal opportunity. Economic background, that is also a discrimination. Just because some people are not afford to go and pay to the Harvard University, that doesn't mean they are less intelligent. Just because they could not go to certain countries and develop and study further, doesn't mean that they are less capable. It's just they did not get the platform. And this is what we as a business owner, we as a community leaders, we have to promise ourselves and hold this responsibility on our shoulder to serve the community with the equality for all. Next. So how do we promote it? Let's talk about some practical tools, right? It is very big words that yes, we have to do this as a business owner. How do we do it? Let's take a smaller examples. Next. So to promote, the very first important rule for the equality for all is a diversity and inclusion. Now, do you know what is diversity and what is inclusion? Diversity is when you are doing a group project activities or anything. Let's talk the smaller, narrow view. Like example, you are doing something project where you have to create a project in terms of product or services. Now in that, because as I mentioned before, that you are targeting audience or you're targeting your business service owner and user are diverse group. They are from different gender, different races, different community, different economic background. It is very important that we consider all this aspect while you are creating your product or your service or when you're making decision making. For example, Chris Robert has mentioned it when he was thinking about the football. Since generation and generation, we have seen sports always been made as a male dominated. Why? Because it's require muscular power. That's fine. But you can play the game with a different way of as well, right? What Chris has created a platform where not just you play the game, but you give the amazing networking and the empowering and the educating sessions. Similar like this, diversity and inclusion. Inclusion, you include all of them. Diversity, first you allow their viewpoint, perception. Inclusion is you value their perception. You allow them to be a decision-making person. Next. So equal opportunity, yes, once you created this group of the strategy making decision maker, you make sure as a founder, leader, a business owner, or even the project lead, you make sure the equal opportunity is provided. Now, some of the member of your project or the services you are providing, remember they could be females, right? Because we are including everyone. Now, as we know, there are still lots of barriers for a woman or girls to go and work outside. Now, doesn't mean that she doesn't have intelligent mind. It's just she has some extra additional responsibility. All she has to do is work from home because she needs to make sure the child, which is a 4-5 years old, is sitting, or she has to go and pick up from the nursery. During that time, providing equal opportunity, that means the tool you use it that allow your staff member or your project members or people who are in that decision-making table has the tools they can work from home. That is the first practical tool. Always make sure that your place of the work, whether it's a non-profit organization or profit-making organization, has that platform where you can use the distance work hours. They can have the flexible working hours as well, because it is very important that you don't want to miss out that perception or that intelligence or the potential that person may carry. Next. Workplace policies. When I was young, one thing my parents always mention it, and you must have noticed as well. If something is not written, do not believe it. Yes, verbally we can make a hustle, make a noise. We can say at the workplace that, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But until and unless it's written in the policy, it does not come under the action. So as an owner, as a business organization, make sure that you put in your policy saying that we do allow gender equality. Put these tools that flexible hours, working hours are allowed. Working from home is allowed. How many hours? Whatever the definition of your workplace, according to your needs, you don't have to have the 100% working from home allowances, but some provision for some needs. For example, childcare. If the person has a child and woman needs to take a day off for the sickness, they should be allowed to take a day off while as long as they are meeting their target, right? And result is the KPI, the target. So why not? This is what it is, a workplace policies. Next, fair equality. Yes, it is very, 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 very important because I have, being a female figure, I worked in the corporate world, and I can tell you from my experience and talking to the colleagues of being my gender, I always felt that female being paid less. You take example. I mean, of course, after this, we can ask the Chris as well that in footballer, if you are female footballer, how much you get paid, and a male footballer. It's huge, huge, drastic change. And why? The question is why? I don't understand. Have you tried being a business owner? When I was establishing my YG Travel as a logistic and transport business, I can share my experience. I went to one of the financial institute to open my bank account, and very nice, I'm not going to name it and blame it, high street bank, where I approached and put my proposal forward saying that I would like to open a bank account for YG Travel, which is a transport and logistic business. You won't believe the way I was scrutinized to ask many questions, not compared to a male would have walked down to that bank and asked for the open a bank account. I was not asking for the credit. I was not asking for the any credit card or anything. All I was asking, a simple business bank account. And I was asked to the question, do you have a qualification to run this program or run this business? I was shocked to hear that. And I'm talking about literally 10 years ago, not a 17th century. 10 years ago, if the financial institute could discriminate just because a female figure, Asian woman with a color, walking in the British bank and walking in and asking for the bank account for the transport and logistic. After challenging that business manager, he apologized and he said, apologize just because I haven't come across any application previously where the female entrepreneur or female founder of the transport and logistic started or opening account with us. This was a shameful example, because just because the person did not came across the experience, that doesn't mean you limit the or you create the barriers for a woman or a girl to start up any male dominated business. And we as a business owner, we as a organization, it is our responsibility to make it sure that this does not happen. Yes, maybe we haven't served certain community in a way, but while we are putting it in the policies, we are making all our employee aware that, hey, this is very important. Although we never had this application before, but this might come, be open and give the equal opportunity. And this was a smaller example I gave. In the corporate world as well, recently, there are big corporate organization, I'm not going to name and shame, but in UK was fined very badly because they found out that higher the women go, the pay does not go rationally high as is the male being promoted. And this is not a fair policies. And this is the reason United Nations always asks the pay equity. Next, please. Corporate social responsibility. I am very big fan of it because as a business owner, we are entrepreneur and we are not the people who only serve our product or services to the community. Actually, we are the people who have an economic power. And power comes with a big responsibility. Always remember that. Remember that Spider-Man, right? Talk. Big power comes with a bigger responsibility. Yes, that means we carry a responsibility, big responsibility on our shoulder to making sure that corporate social responsibility towards the community, towards our employees, employees' family, they've been fed as well. I'll give you a very small example about the YG Travel. When YG Travel was going through the COVID situation, we were suffering. We have the 10 drivers and then 7 vehicles sitting at the yard and no jobs. It's a transport industry who will take our buses and go for the hospitality. They won't because it's a COVID, right? For my biggest fear was not that I'm losing the money or how am I going to run my house. My biggest fear was those 10 drivers, the admin person, these 10 employees were looking at me that how am I going to run next month my pay, my house, my daughter's requirement or my child's requirement. And that which makes us entrepreneur because we are strong enough to carry the responsibility of not running our own house, but running this full community which we are carrying on our shoulder. We are we are also based in the Brent Council, and we make sure that if any opportunity given, we serve the community. And this is the reason, as a global talent solution hub as well, we carry our corporate social responsibility and provide this free of charge sessions online where we empower more and more people. Next. So how you can promote equality in your workplace and community as an individual. So far we have talked about as a business person, as an owner of the nonprofit organization or owner of the profit-making organization. Now as an employee, as an individual, as a member of the community, as a member of the university, as a member of one classroom, how could you carry this to your shoulder and promote it? First of all, as we always say, that, the person who is abusing you is culprit, but more than that, the person who is a victim is more culprit. Why? Because you are going through that pain. You must speak up. So when we talk about how individually you can talk about, just be open. Be open your ears and eyes in your organization or wherever you're working or you're walking in the society or coming across any situation. You talk about it. You talk about it in your normal circumstances while you're talking to the people. If somebody is passing a joke about your female colleague or a colleague who is disabled or not able to speak properly and making a joke about it, tell them, hey, have some respect for this equality. And by saying this, you're stopping this chain to go on and on and on. Like in the WhatsApp messages, right? We always have a habit of forwarding without even reading. Take a responsibility, read those messages, and then forward it. So this is a smallest step towards you as an individual. How can you promote it? Equality at your workplace or the community. Next, please. So I know we are reaching near to the time. I just want to conclude this by saying that equality for all is very, very important. And not just because I am a feminist figure and I'm talking from my experience, but don't forget the 50% of the population is a different gender than you, right? That means the pool of that 50% of the people have that amazing potential, amazing idea, amazing capability. You're missing out then. How can you reach them? Only way is include them. By including, by giving them equal opportunity, whether it's education, whether it's a financial stability, or whether it's just making a smallest decision in day-to-day life. Right? You can boost one person's confidence by telling them, hey, decide yourself and start with your own home. You don't have to go out. If you're not a business person, you are just an employee or you are a student. Start with your home. Look at home, right? Since beginning, if you understand the Indian family structure, right? There is always a one meal they promote that have a sit together and eat. Why? Have you questioned this? The reason is because that meal, sitting in the family together, these family members are a different gender, different age group, and having a different mindset. While they're sitting together, they're discussing and talking, they're opening their heart up. And that's where the ideas flow. So imagine that house of the dinner table can happen at your corporate multinational company. Can you imagine if you give someone that environment to speak up? Can you give them platform where these people can talk openly and give them confidence that you've been heard, you've been valued, you've been appreciated? Then your organization does not require to sustain because it will thrive. It will thrive. The audience, the service user, end user will see the company's social responsibility and what you are doing as a business as well. So that's from me, Dr. Jaya Sajnani. I'm a founder of Global Talent Solution Hub, YG Travel, Explore London, Helping Hand Organization, and so on, list goes on. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We have a 480 live viewers. That is amazing. I hope I have, and Chris Robert has inspired enough to ask you or implement you a one step today, which is a practical to take away. And please promote equality for all. Start from your home. And this is my say, start from your home, from your own village. So I am putting my hat away as a speaker, and I'm going to be a host again, as you know that one speaker is down. So Chris, we talk about the questions now. I have a few questions for you, which audience has already raised for us. And the very first question, which is you somewhere has answer already. The very first question is, the audience has asked, can you share an example of how gender equality has positively impacted your organization or your community?
Yeah, this is something that I answered earlier. Purely by taking on more directors of, who are women. Like I mentioned before, women are a powerful source. My mum, my wife, believe it or not, my 7-year-old granddaughter, she puts me on track as well. And it's these kind of people, a 7-year-old little girl is quite insightful. It's a different generation from what I was ever brought up in. And, mine was very old school. And I sit down and I babysit my 7-year-old granddaughter, and she keeps me in check. And, I am a firm believer 50-50 in this life.
I 100% agree. Can't be agree anymore. But yes, if I give you my example, Global Talent Solution Hub, when we started, I remember Mudit is here as well, and he knows that we were really struggling, don't know what to do, even though Mudit is quite young and he's in the teen kind of age group. But still, we were having to know that how do we promote it more, because this platform, we wanted to create it for everyone, equality. My 16 years old daughter, she has shared definitely a lots of input in that. We have a Rupali Tahilyani here. She has been also a very powerful input in our strategy making as well, when it comes to especially social media, right? People know how to do it. So for me, if I'd say that how the gender equality has effectively impacted my organization is a hugely. Mudit has given amazing input in showing or expressing that how you can empower a male-dominated industry, a male muscular power to come and join and support female, because it is very important. We cannot help ourselves, right? Sometimes we need someone else to tell us, yeah, you're doing right, just keep on doing it, and the appreciation and then valued and the respected environment. So yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for that. So our second question was asked, what are some effective strategies you have implemented to promote gender equality at your workplace. So, Chris, for you, have you implemented, or would you able to talk to us about any strategies you have implemented to make sure that you give the equal opportunity?
Um, Basically, it was to form the ladies' team. That was the first strategy.
Mhm.
Also, we wanted. I mentioned the Hope Beats Hate campaign. Again, this was something as men. To be honest,
Mhm.
at times it's embarrassing to be a man
Oh.
because I attend football matches and I hear what goes on in the crowd, and some of the stuff is rotten. It's rubbish.
Mhm.
And when I hear that kind of thing, it just hardens my resolve. So, like I say, we had the Hope Beats Hate campaign, and we got right behind that by having the EE kits.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
also, what we had is we had the Her Game too, and again, that was on a similar basis. And we were early adopters of the Her Game 2 campaign. And
Mhm.
what we did was we actually put them on our tracksuits. We put the Her
Mhm.
Game 2 badge. We put the Her Game 2 on our shorts as well. And, you know, we try and advertise that as much as possible
Mhm.
because, like I say, firm believers in the women's voice and purely in a modern game as well, a modern game of football where the game is growing and growing and growing, and
Mhm.
it will grow, and one day it will have an equal footing.
Yeah, that's definitely, I agree. And that was a very good strategies of just even putting it through the social media and putting that picturized, making sure that they've been visible and seen. In terms of Global Talent Solution and YG Travel, yes, we have implemented strategies like working from home. First thing, anybody joined, I do tell them that be comfortable, make sure that they feel the environment where they can speak. They don't feel fear. They don't feel being judged, because our tendency as a human is um, we stop talking, or we stop putting our points forward when we feel that we're not being valued, our um, the ideas is not being respected or made a mockery about it or fun. So I make it sure that our employees have that equal opportunity by, if they're not able to come to the work, they can work from home, fully accessible. Are all the platform of the email and other things as well, we make it in the iCloud so that any documents can be shared online easily, rather than having to come to the office and then looking at the paperwork. Come on, it's one of the sustainable goal as well, environment friendly. Why would you use paper when there is a technology available? Best use of technology is the best strategy for any business as well. So that brings us the very last question, which is, in your experience, Chris, what are the biggest challenges in achieving gender equality, and how can they be overcome?
Biggest challenge in gender equality is men themselves. Um, and the way to overcome them is education.
Uh-huh.
We need we need to sit down and have discussions. I would invite anybody to come along to our football matches, whether they come to watch the men's team play or whether they come to watch the women's team play.
Mhm.
What we've got tonight is we've got a men's and ladies training session. So we
Mhm.
have two pitches. So we've got the ladies who are playing on one side, and we've got
Mhm.
the men who are playing on the other. When we first started doing that, this simultaneous football, the
Mhm.
men were saying, why have we got the women playing alongside us? I said,
Oh.
well, because they've got the same platform. And
Mhm.
what happens now is that the men actually sometimes stand and watch the women play. And the men are actually in awe of some of the skills that the women have.
Yeah, I hear you, and I can feel that as well. It must be very hard, and I wouldn't blame muscular power for restricting female to come and join the field. Not because the personally, individually, they are being awkward or difficult. It's not that. But if you remember, as a human being, it is very, very difficult to change your old habits.
Yeah.
So when you see generation and generation, this has been happening. And now if you are the change maker, you are the person who has to change the field and make the difference. You are not fighting the outsider, you're fighting within yourself. The stereotype mind, which your ancestor has put it in your genes, in your head, you have to fight that mentality, and that is the hardest one for any human being. And this is, I can relate this not because as a restriction or resistance I found it with the male domination industry or male dominated people. It's more because as a female I blame equally a female as well for not speaking up, not making that hustle. Because don't forget that years and years of the upbringing, which was put it on me, where I've seen my sister, my older sister, my mother, my grandmothers, they all have lived their life in these four walls. They've been told what to wear, how to smile, how to walk, where to go, how much to eat, how much not to eat. You have to look after your health in terms of your figure, slim, zero size, and all this been fitted in my head. And now if I'm being a change maker as a female, I'm telling this all listener here today, which is 343 live listener are listening, must be 50% of women who are listening us. Please understand, people can give you seat on the table if you stand next to the chair. If you're not going to stand up and go and stand next to the chair, people will not pull the chair for you. So you need to take a first step, break that orthodox thinking within yourself you have, no matter what your upbringing was, no matter what you've been learned and been taught. You need to make sure that coming generation will not face the same problem what you are facing today, because we are the change maker. And while doing the change making, you have to fight within yourself. And for that reason, the challenges are not outside. The challenges are within you. So fight yourself, make it sure that you are up for the next generation and let next generation to speak. Equal opportunity. And that is what today's session. So I am going to conclude today's session by saying thank you so much for coming and joining our session. I really, really appreciate you coming over and giving this platform to so many people, to empowering. Thank you, Chris Roberts, for reaching to your community and helping us to support more and more women to come and support each other, inspire each other, and empower and make sure that we do follow the equality for all, gender equality, sustainable development goals for United Nations in our day-to-day life as well. So don't forget, as we have just created this series, Global Talent Solution, the next 5 sessions are going to be a sustainable development goal. We have a next session, which is the next Thursday, and the session name is Building Tomorrow, Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. Wow, very, very interesting topic next week. On 18th of July, Thursday, same time, 4 p.m. London time, live here. I will see you. Until that, please take care of yourself, and I'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to catch our next session live on 18th of July 2024.